All right, hello everybody. We did a thing for the first time in it's a year and a half since we went.
We went to the outside.
Well, wait, what was the last movie we saw in the theater?
I was trying to remember that. I know I went to one with the kids right at the beginning.
Was it Avengers? Was the last one we saw?
Because there was only one other family there, but I don't remember the last one that we saw either. I can't remember. We'd have to like look.
I want to say Avengers Endgame.
Movie was lame.
Movie was not lame. It was great.
It was not.
It wasn't as good as
like
Infinity War. Infinity War was very good. Now, so tonight we saw Black Widow.
Yep. My nose.
Which Yvonne was just excited to go see a movie.
I was excited to go to the theater.
Yes.
So I said, I don't care what movie.
And I took honestly, that as Black Widow.
There's only Black Widow or the Fast and Furious. Those really are the only two choices.
Fast and Furious, you can see how a car flies to space.
I have never watched any of those movies, and I have no desire to watch any of those movies.
It's not like there's some grand storyline I have to explain to you, because there isn't one.
So Black Widow it was. No desire to watch Fast and
Furious. I thought Black Widow was entertaining. I think that if there's a flaw with Black Widow, it's the timing of when they put this movie out, where we know Natasha's already dead. So when she was in mortal danger in this movie, I wasn't worried because
right, you know,
she doesn't die here,
right?
So she can get exploded, but explosions don't affect her.
Gravity
falling from like space wouldn't affect her. Like
hitting
she just
your back.
Like I get that she's a really good fighter, but you can't just drop and roll from like 10,000 feet in the air. Because they were in the clouds.
If you hit enough things on the way down, it apparently slows you down.
Remember though, they showed she was bruised up. They showed her back was bruised at that one point in the movie.
Because she hit all those scaffolding, the metal scaffolding with her back.
Do you know?
So it
is kind of funny.
Her descent.
It is kind of funny in Marvel movies how much scaffolding there is.
There is a lot.
And
a lot. And they always hit it.
Or fall off of it.
She's also really good at grabbing things while falling.
That's her fighting skill.
Skills.
And then
I might have laughed a couple times. There were a few times that I was like, "This is silly."
The action scenes do get way over the top, where both Yelena and Natasha would have been dead.
It was getting ridiculous. So, and the number of times that there is a woman like walking and there's the explosion behind her.
See, again, if you want that, you can go to Fast and Furious movies too.
There was like 4 of them.
Fast and Furious, you just dive out of the way of an explosion. In a very short amount of time
at the last, that I was, okay, this is silly.
So if you haven't seen it, I would recommend it. I'd recommend watching it. So avoid spoilers. Go out, watch the movie. I thought it was a good flick.
Spoilers! She doesn't die.
Well, because there's other parts of this movie too, though, that we may not have known about her past that are in this, and so it's entertaining, and it's entertaining to watch how it takes place. I do wish there was more fleshed out about the family and all of that. I think that would have been entertaining, but then you end up with a 3-hour movie.
There wouldn't be as many explosions.
And they definitely...
A lot of things do explode when you hit it. It just...
If you like explosions, this is a good movie for explosions.
A tank car runs into it and...
Well, and not... Yeah. So anyways, if you want to avoid spoilers, go ahead, shut this off, go watch it, enjoy it. It is mindless action. I'm just going to say straight out. It is not going to be an Oscar winner other than maybe for special effects.
The camera doing this to make it look really cool.
Yes, that is one thing I will say.
And then another explosion.
If you have problems with shaky cam movies, this is not the movie for you. If it gives you motion sickness or worse,
I hate shaky cameras.
It's bad, especially at the start. It felt like as the movie went along,
they seemed to kind of get rid of it a bit.
They even it out, but the
beginning was really bad.
It is not great if you're, one that gets sick from that kind of shaky cam footage. It was like they got the camera people from Blair Witch for the first 2 weeks. You have to let your eyes
focus.
So the first part of the movie is filmed by the Blair Witch people, and then from there it's not. Blair Witch was the worst ever for shaky cam.
Yes.
That was just nauseating in the theater. So...
No. It's not as bad because it's shaking, but it's not doing the jolting and...
Well, parts of it were.
But not as much. It was more just shaky. There are... What movie? We went and saw another one in the theater that was way too much of the... And I couldn't see most of the movie.
Hi, baby.
I don't remember what movie that was.
I have no idea.
I can't see it if it shakes so much. I can't.
I don't, kitty.
My eyes can't focus on it.
Sure, good,
So that's obnoxious. But, you know, I could see all the explosions. So that's what matters.
No, okay.
She just wants your attention because you left
No,
the
I
house.
think she wants something else.
You left the house. I deserve treats now.
I think that's what it is. I think she's waiting for treats.
I'll
Smelling my hand to make sure I didn't pet other cats. That's what that's for. But yeah, so like I said, if you want to avoid spoilers from here on, we're going to discuss the plot of the movie, and it's odd. So the part with the family at the start, I mean, I knew from the beginning, like, okay, so this is Natasha as a kid.
I figured
I got that.
one of the kids,
and I knew the
Black
blonde girl was going to have to be her sister Yelena. I knew that was going to have to be how that went.
About that.
But
I just figured one of them was Black Widow.
None of them are actually family or related, and they don't really show you how that all comes together, which I think might have been interesting. Now, of course, you have the kind of surprise thing where they're firing at the police and they're taking off in the plane and all that. But I think if they had shown how that takes place, I think you might have had a more interesting movie to show how all that works.
Or I was also confused. Okay, so at the beginning, when they're there and the police people come, right? And Black Widow's trained to protect her little sister.
Yep.
Right? And she said, no, she's too young. She's only 6.
Right.
And the dad says something about, well, you were 6 too. For what?
For the Red Room.
Okay, but so what happened
She was
before
put
that?
She was put in the Red Room before that. So Natasha was aware that this wasn't really a family and that they were undercover. However, her younger sister had no idea. She was too young. She was only 6, so she would have been 3 when she was put in this family. She just figured this is her family now. So that's why it affected her more when the cops show up and their life is done than it did for Natasha. And while Natasha was upset, she was older, so she knew. She understood, all right, this is how this works. The thing that threw me was, if Natasha's already been through the Red Room and she's already capable of killing people, why would they need to necessarily put her back into it? Because she's already, like, a willing agent?
Well, the mom said she was in there 3 times before her, so, like, you have to
but
do
they
it
and
over
they
and over.
so that part they kind of gloss over, and I thought the Red Room stuff, they make it so important that they have to get to this Red Room and shut this down, and then they don't do anything with it. Like, there's I guess it's just where they train. Like, I was like, okay, so it's just what kind of, because he's already controlling their minds as it is, so it's just for combat training now. Was it different when Natasha was in it? Like, there's really some good backstory they could have put in there. They could have shown Natasha as a kid and what she went through in there, and how she broke out, that kind of thing. But again, you wouldn't have had as many explosions. It may not have been as exciting.
You wouldn't have been able to fall as much.
A lot of falling.
Yeah. And hitting things.
And the part that I found weird too is that, so he's got this big floating city thing, right? And it's very Avengers like. Of course, it's this giant floating thing up in the sky. So what does he do on a clear day so people don't see him?
I had that thought. So is
because
there
it hides
always
in the
that
clouds.
Cloud there? Does it move?
But like on a clear day, people are like, I see you. Like, I don't. And you would think the Avengers, because at certain points in this movie, it's like major stuff going on. And I thought, now, wouldn't there be some kind of an Avengers Scooby alarm going off right now? Shouldn't there? And there's times where with the Marvel movies, I wonder that, like, why aren't other Avengers showing up? Because this is a major issue. This could be huge. You would think this would be on somebody's, like, are they sitting down having coffee and they're just ignoring, like, the explosions coming out of Siberia? Like, it. And then, like, everybody's fine when they shouldn't have been.
So many times.
And then,
she
like,
gets up. Of course.
So you have David Harbour, I should say, playing the dad, And he plays him one way at the start of the movie, and then it's a completely different character when he comes back in. Now, he's a treasure. I really hope they bring Red Guardian back in for another movie. Or onto one of the Disney Plus series, because I thought he was fantastic. But it's weird, because it's established at the start of the movie he can speak in an American accent. And he does it at home even though he doesn't need to. So they don't speak with Russian accents at home, even though 3 of the 4 people know they don't need to speak in American accents. And they don't get into it's just weird. And then he has this connection to the daughters, like, you're strong and you can beat the, I believe in you. And then later on in the movie, it's kind of like, hey, he doesn't care. But wait, at the start of the movie it looked like he did. Why does he not care now?
Time.
But they make it sound like he never did, and the way Natasha treats him is like he never cared either. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's strange. Almost as strange as, you can tell there's different camera crews working in different areas, because the first 15 minutes of the movie you have the shaky cam, and every camera angle was either Scarlett Johansson's backside or her boobs.
Yes.
And it was very obvious that they were framing it that way.
Yeah.
And then they didn't for the rest of the movie, which almost made it weirder. Because it was like, okay, now we got normal camera angles for the... So when she's a normal civilian, we're going to frame her butt? Like, I don't... It felt odd. It felt really weird. Because it's like, okay, we're filming it this way, and then we're not. And I know we sat through the credits, because of course there's a post-credit scene. They had at least 5 or 6 different shooting locations.
There was a bunch, yeah.
And it felt like there was different ways they were filming in each location. The Bahamas shot where they show the plane coming in and landing is absolutely fantastic. Might be the best establishing shot of the entire movie. Even though, like, it was weird. Because it's like, okay, so they're flying off the Bahamas. Okay. And then the girls are being kidnapped. That was weird. Because, like, they were part of this. So you don't need to kidnap them. It'd be like us saying, okay, kids, we're going to a hockey game, and then we hog tie them and throw them in the back of the van. Like, it was weird, but again, it didn't suffer from too many Marvel people.
Yeah.
I thought
which is good, because I really don't like that with Marvel.
They could have used a cameo from Clint, from the archery character that they show at the end there. They could have shown him, but I understand why they didn't. Because he, at that point, I believe, was retired with his family. Of course, his family disappears in the poof.
Okay, yeah.
Remember, and then he goes over to Tokyo and he decides he's going to start killing people because he's angry. So since my family's dead, I'm going to start killing criminals. And then Natasha goes over and tells him to knock it off.
Yeah.
But
that makes sense.
And that was set after what we witnessed in the movie we just saw, which again shows that the Black Widow movie probably should have been made and put out there before the Avengers movies, before Infinity War and Endgame. You wouldn't have been able to have that post-credit scene.
Right.
And the other weird part to me is, so at the end of it, they acknowledge that Natasha's dead, and Yelena goes to visit her grave. And then Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or Falcon and Captain America and the Winter Soldier is what it's called at the end of course. She's there to kind of, she's her boss, so that means Yelena's a bad guy at this point. And then you need to go, here's your next target, and Clint's the next target. But obviously, while she'll be in the next series, she's not going to kill Clint. And obviously they're going to team up, but, like, there's nothing in that grave. Natasha died on another planet. Did he bring her back? Did he go down into the... Because she fell,
right? And
then he had the stone. So did he rappel down? Did Red Skull go down and pick up the body and hand it to... there shouldn't be a body in there, because he didn't come back with one.
Right.
Did somebody go back to the planet and pick up the body? Or it's just a headstone over nothing. And so this idea that Clint killed her doesn't make any sense. Because nobody saw what happened. And Clint didn't kill her. She committed suicide.
Right.
So that to me is going to require some finessing when we get to that show, which I think is coming out in a few months. So there's more Marvel. We've really been enjoying Loki, though. At least I have. I don't know if you have. I've thought Loki's been a lot of fun. The alligator Loki is my favorite thing ever.
It's so weird.
I think alligator Loki might be the greatest thing in the history of Marvel, and I think there needs to be a series of movies about alligator Loki.
I don't want to.
You could have him with the raccoon from Guardians. The raccoon from Guardians teams up with alligator Loki, and hijinks ensue. I think that would be great. But yeah, so with Black Widow, I thought it was a good movie. The action scenes are absolutely ridiculous and over the top. I've watched too many pitch meetings now. So every time there was a crash, that like the car flips like what 6 times, and it goes downstairs and the concrete
when
steps.
She falls off that bridge.
And the funny part was she tells her sister, put on your seatbelt. And then the explosion's under the car rolls like a million times, and then they just get out. And I said, yeah, they're probably fine, because I've got pitch meetings stuck in my head now from like all the times that he's like, did they die? No, they're fine.
She hits her back on the car, and then
oh my god, from that height they die. Yeah, but they're fine, because movie has to happen. So that's all I kept thinking. And like the other part that had me confused was, so when they're being chased by the cyborg looking dude that turns out to be the bad guy's daughter.
Oh yeah.
When they're being chased, and like there's a trail of blood that leads up to that manhole.
Yeah.
So they didn't have much time. So they cinched it up. Oh, I understand it's a trick to get the cyborg thing to go underneath, but so they cinched that up, and then they jumped up into the and they did that in like what, 10 seconds to get up into the, because it didn't feel like there was enough time.
I thought they were going to be on the train.
That's what I thought too, because they were framing it that way, that the cyborg thing, it looks like a cyborg. It's not, but it looks like it is. And it, as it's walking along, you see the train moving. I thought, okay, so Natasha and Yelena jumped onto the train, and that's why the blood trail ends, and they just jumped on the train. But they didn't jump on the train. They decided to hide, because that makes sense. That's so much easier than getting on a train, going somewhere completely different. And like, was it tracking them? Because it always seemed to be wherever they were.
Right.
So I was like, okay, so it's tracking them? Wasn't really explained. Like, you know, the evil guy's got like his remote control over all the widows, but there was no real explanation for how he seemed to know where everything was. Unless there's widows everywhere. But then, anyway. It's not a movie that's heavy on logic. It's heavy on style. The fights with David Harbour were awesome. And when he snapped that guy's wrist, I thought that was hilarious. When he broke that guy's wrist, I thought that was hilarious. Because when that guy sat down, I thought, okay, so this is going to be some kind of like murder attempt on him in the prison. No, just breaks his wrist. But the idea too that he's a super soldier is good, and so they get into that in Falcon and Winter Soldier. They get into the super soldier thing, and that it wasn't just Steve Rogers, Captain America. So maybe since they get into it there, maybe they'll get into it as well with Clint's series. So we'll see. But I never got you to watch Falcon and Winter Soldier because I didn't think you would enjoy it.
No, didn't I
you
watch
watched
like half of
first half of an episode, and it was a lot of action and stuff. Yeah. Again, falling out of planes and jumping, just jumping. Should be to their death, but they spring off a tree and live, kind of thing. Because that's what happens. Silly. You know, if you fall out of a tree, just roll. If you fall out of a plane, you just roll.
If you hit enough objects, it slows.
If you're coming in from space, roll. That's the lesson I've learned. No matter what height I'm falling from, just drop and roll. I did think it was funny.
You can grab something and then you're good.
I did think it was funny that Yelena made fun of Natasha's sexy pose she does when she goes to fight.
Funny, yeah.
Because she does. And she does a lot of the hair flip. Because
she's a girl.
Guys like girls with long hair doing the hair flip. That's a known thing. And so, you know, I never complained about the hair flip myself.
I know.
But I never noticed either that Natasha did it every time until she mentioned it. I went, yeah, you know what, Natasha, she doesn't. Black Widow does it every single time. Every movie. And then the part two where she says, you know, you pose like everybody's watching you. That's mocking the Avengers and the fact that in every Avengers movie, they have them all line up like ready for a fight, and then they do the panoramic shot all the way around of all of them like 360 as they get ready for the fight. So that was kind of funny. I got a kick out of that. There were some nice little nods in there that I thought. I don't know if Yvonne necessarily gets the nod that's in here because there's so many Marvel movies that she's probably her brain's like pushing some of them out now.
I don't like all the Marvel movies. I don't like all the gajillion of characters.
But
I don't.
Doesn't Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings look good?
Yeah, that one does look good.
Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, they showed a preview for that. That one looks like a really good movie.
Long preview.
Well, the previews were long because they're like, people are in the theater. We need to try to get them. Just come back again. Like, there were a lot of previews. There was about 15 minutes worth of previews. There weren't
any car commercials?
No, none.
Which, that's weird.
There wasn't even the pre-show.
Yeah,
remember the pre-show guy that rambles?
Yes.
That wasn't in there either.
Well, they had the Q&A thing
beforehand. Oh, that. But that was just advertising for the actual movie we were watching.
No car commercials?
Nope.
There were no thing to tell you to silence your phone?
Because they just want you there. They don't care if you're a Tommy texter. Go ahead, text away. We're just glad you're here. The other thing, too, is that it's all reserved seating. So when I booked the seats online, they said, basically, you know, social distance. And you've bought these seats. We've blocked out the seats next to you. So you will have space between your party and the next family over. And they had that throughout the theater. There was a group of 4 behind us.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anybody else in that row. And then every other group I saw was just 2. It was basically couples or father and daughter kind of thing. So, yeah, it was very well done. I will have no problem going to the theater again. The next time that a Marvel movie comes out, which is in September. That's when Shang-Chi comes out. And then I think there's one in either November or January as well.
Yeah, it's never very long until another Marvel
and then,
movie comes
well,
out.
because they got backed up. This movie was supposed to come out last year.
Right.
This movie was supposed to come out, I think, last May. So it got backed up, and now it's backed up all of Phase 4, so they've got to rush them through.
Right.
So, well, they've still got all the series going, too, and they have to make sure that the series matches up with the movies, and that's more of a challenge now than it used to be. It used to be that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was the only series they had to worry about, and that was only S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra, so they couldn't reveal that Hydra was actually in control of S.H.I.E.L.D. until it had been revealed in the movies. They couldn't reveal it in the series, so they had to time it out that way. Do you remember Hydra? Hail Hydra?
I remember that.
You cut off one head, 2 heads take their place.
You point out that there's little symbols in shows.
Hail Hydra?
For Hydra.
I would totally have ended up being Hydra. It's just too cool. Because you cut off one head and 2 takes its place. I totally would have ended up being Hydra. It's just... And I would imagine the pay and the benefits would be better with Hydra than with S.H.I.E.L.D. They take care of their people.
Uh-huh.
And if you die, they just turn you into a cyborg and bring you back.
Oh, there you
S.H.I.E.L.D. just leaves you dead. So Hydra, that immortality, other than the part where you actually do die for good, for real, that's it, you're done. But if you take that away, it's a pretty good life. And you have to be a villain and you have to kill all the heroes. So that's the part that sucks. But the benefits, I would think, and the pay would probably be pretty good for Hydra. And for people in the Senate or in Congress that are in Hydra, what's the difference? It's all fine. It's just who's bribing you changes. That's it. It's done. That's all I gotta do is take money from you. Okay, done. So instead of worrying about, you know, oceans and, you know, I'm going to pollute the oceans, instead of that, it's just, I don't know who's killing the Avengers. It's not really my problem. And it isn't your problem. So, you know, you're not lying. You're just making a couple extra bucks. What's wrong with making a couple extra bucks? I've thought this through.
Clearly.
Although I probably would have joined up with Black Widow.
Uh-huh.
What?
Nothing.
Are all the widows called Black Widow, then?
I was wondering that. They were just saying widow. Do they have, like, different
it's
names
like Orange Widow and Fuchsia Widow. And wouldn't they run out of colors?
Do they have other names for the widows? Or
I mean, I was sad because we didn't have, like, in Reservoir Dogs where you have Mr. Pink. We didn't have that scene with the widows. We're like, why am I the Pink Widow? Can't I be Black Widow? No, she's Black Widow. Why does she get to be Black Widow? So, yeah.
I did have that thought. That Yeah.
Because just a
Are they
widow
other-
on its own, that's... it was strange. Unless they're all Black Widows.
Right.
Not that they got into that. And then when they showed like all the widows on the world stage, I thought that looks like X-Men. That totally reminds me of X-Men when they're showing like all the people and here's all the mutants. Yeah, there's a lot of questions I still have with this that I would imagine that they'll get figured out. I don't know if Florence Pugh's going to be a regular on the series with Clint in it, but I guess she might be. I don't know, but that series should be coming up quickly. I saw one review that said that the post-credit scene is like the biggest advertisement for Disney Plus of any that they've ever done, but I thought, well, it's not like they've made very many movies while Disney Plus has had the rights, so makes sense to tie them together. Especially with the budget they put into those Disney Plus shows. There's big budgets in that.
They're like
Loki's got a big budget.
Yes, I pointed that out the last episode. These are like movies.
That creature in the smoke on Loki is fantastic. That is so well done. So yeah, you can't do that on a regular TV budget. So one thing that's come out of the pandemic slowdown of everything is I think it's kind of blurred the line between TV and movies, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. And like you can still rent these movies and watch them at home as well as watch them in the theater. I don't think that's a bad thing either.
Yeah.
This is one that I think you need to see in the theater because explosions. There's a lot of them. Oh my gosh. And you have to suspend your disbelief, and you have to kind of turn off that part of your brain that goes, "Oh, they're dead."
Wait, what?
So they're dead. Seriously, no. Now they're dead.
It's nice that explosion is framing her so nice. Hold on, we haven't had a hero shot for about 30 seconds.
She outran a couple of explosions as well, which is very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, she had to run ahead of it to beat it. It's at the door. I better run now.
And then with her pretend mom there when they switched spots and everything, they had a lot more time than actually they seem to have in that scene.
It was really good that the mom already had the wigs there.
And
like
she compromised her
wig,
team really quickly.
A wig for her daughter that she hadn't seen in 20 years, but she happened to have an exact wig of her hair. So that's really nice.
I have a Black Widow wig in our room.
That's really convenient.
That's why I have it too.
So while watching it, I was just like, wait, but...
Yeah, there was a lot of weird stuff in that part. Because to me it was like, okay, so she ratted them out and they're on their way. But then immediately switches sides because Natasha picks up a photo album of fake memories. And they're like, "Aw, the fake memories."
That was weird too. I don't quite understand that. Why would they have had like a photo day of all of the holidays but pretend?
So that if somebody was investigating their family, they'd be like, "Well, see, no, these are our memories, and this is our stuff," and just for that image of being a real family. But again, Natasha knew it was all BS.
That's weird.
The other part I found weird was I don't remember little girls having blue hair in the mid-90s. I mean, it may very well have been a thing, but it was just one of those things where I was like, 1995 and her hair's blue. Were there little girls with blue hair in 1995?
You could. It wasn't very common. No. It was really hard to find.
I remember in the early 2000s is where you started seeing weird hair colors.
I started dyeing my hair colors in 99, and even then it was really hard to find. I mean, you could.
Well, maybe being Russian spies,
there was manic panic.
Yeah.
But
yeah, being Russian spies, they had access to special hair colors.
Right.
That's how that works.
And Kool-Aid.
And I think Russian spies, you probably get really good benefits with that too. So Hydra, Russian spies, it's all fine. It's all fine. It's good. It's not a big deal. But yeah, so I mean, I'll be interested to see if her sister ends up being part of the new Avengers, because I think that's what they're setting up. Is that she will end up being part of the new Avengers that they're going to build through the next 3 or 4 years.
They don't have enough characters.
So they actually, well, when you think about it, Iron Man's gone. Captain America's gone. Thor's run off with Guardians of the Galaxy. He won't be coming back and joining the Avengers again. So they're already down like 3 main members right there. So there's already rumors of Tony Stark's daughter being one of the next Avengers. They're going to do Young Avengers. And it would make sense if Black Widow's sister was one of them as well. Because she is younger. So, every superhero's got an expiration date. That's just how that works. And then you cycle in new ones. And I don't think Hulk's going to be in them anymore either. And if he is, I don't think he'll be a main character. Because they can't make a Hulk movie. They want to. They can't make a movie just based on the Hulk. They're not allowed. They don't have the rights.
Okay.
He can be a character, but the movie can't be all about him. Closest you get is Thor Ragnarok. That's as close as you get with that line. So, when Thor yelled out, "We work together."
Okay.
Remember that?
No.
When Thor fought him in the arena? God, that was so funny. That was so funny, because they've been looking for Hulk.
Turns into a blurry mush in my head.
That's a great line.
I don't remember.
I know him from work.
In the movies.
I know him from work. And then Hulk smashes him. It's just great. It's a good movie. We should watch that again then.
I know.
We should.
No.
We could have...
No.
We could have, like, this summer...
No, we're not doing it. No.
We could do, like, a marathon.
No. I knew you were going to say that.
I could line up...
I have no
from Iron Man,
to watch those again. Oh
from Iron Man, from the first Iron Man movie, all the way through until Endgame. And then we could catch up on all the movies you've missed that you haven't seen.
I don't want to catch up on movies I've missed.
I think that'd be great.
I wanted to miss them.
Yeah, but you missed them.
I didn't miss them.
So, we're gonna have to do that.
No.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that.
I don't want to.
That'll be fine. But if it makes anybody feel better, I have been watching Love Island with her, so we're all caught up on Love Island too. So.
Why would that make people feel better?
Because it shows that I don't just watch stuff I want to watch. That we watch stuff together, too.
That is totally something you want to watch.
Love Island?
Yes.
I thought you enjoyed it as much as I did.
It's funny, but it's most
100%.
definitely...
They're vibing. They're vibing hard.
It's fun to make fun of how they talk. But that's totally your show.
You don't want to watch it anymore? I didn't know you didn't want to watch it. I thought you enjoyed that show as much as I did. Oh. Alright, well... Huh. We watched Space Milkshake. You enjoyed that, right?
That's your movie.
But you enjoyed it, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I don't enjoy
the monster
some
scared
of
you pretty bad in that one.
The
though.
Muppet? No.
He wasn't a Muppet, he was a monster.
But these are all Shannon
He was a rubber duck that turned into a monster. Scary stuff.
No.
With George Takei as the voice, because it's got to be this threatening voice.
That was funny.
So
you
it's
could
George
see
Takei.
that it was made out of foam.
It's scary.
It's not. There's no part of scary to it.
So, alright. Well, no, there's other stuff we watch, though. We watch all the pitch meetings.
Uh-huh.
You enjoy those.
Yeah.
There's other YouTube videos we watch together.
Uh-huh.
The new Billie Eilish video where it looks like she's going to get run over.
You're just giving people a list of things that you like to watch.
Well, no, you wanted to watch it, too. What? We watch cooking shows together. We watch Canadian baking show together.
I like that show.
Yeah, see? There you go. Problem solved. See?
See, there's this one show that Yvonne wanted to watch, and I watched it. Done.
I'm just saying. Alright, go watch Black Widow. And enjoy it. Just don't look for a lot of logic.
Or thinking.
Or physics.
Don't think. Oh my gosh, the physics.
The physics don't work because she's not a super she's a hero. She's an Avenger, but she doesn't have superpowers.
She clearly does.
But she doesn't.
Unbreakable bones.
And that's the only thing. If you can handle that part, highly watchable. Check it out. Enjoy it.
Unbreakable bones.
And it's too bad that Scarlett Johansson won't be playing that role anymore because I think she does a pretty good job at it.
I'm sure you do.
Why do you say it like that? I thought it was weird when she switched spots with her mom and they were built the same. I was like, I don't think those two actresses are built anything alike. I like Rachel Weisz. Rachel Weisz is a good actress. She's not built like Scarlett Johansson. You can face switch with her all you want. The rest of it is completely different.
Same, and their voices same.
Well, when you fix your if I switch faces with you, my voice turns into yours. Don't you know that?
Right.
So,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Anyways, there you go. Don't look for physics or that kind of thing, but it's enjoyable. They're not meant to be Academy Award winning movies.
You're not supposed to really think
There's
about
explosions.
it.
And there's some funny stuff. Like I said, David Harbour was fantastic, and I look forward to seeing Red Guardian in more movies. Maybe as an Avenger, he'd make a good Avenger.
Shooting.
He could just sit in the corner and tell stories during all the fighting and stuff. Be great. So I want that. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched the movie, let me know what you thought of it in the comment section below as always. And hey, if you're browsing your way through, you just happen upon this video, by all means, hit like and subscribe. We will definitely see more movies during the summer because we can do that now.
We can go places.
We're going to start going places. Stuff's opened up, so that's going to be fun. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll do this again soon.